Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 16 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. As I mentioned in yesterday's episode, since I wasn't able to get anything up on Monday, I do want to bring you guys 2 episodes today, so this is a little bit earlier than I normally upload, and then you can expect one around the same time as yesterday's, which was I think around like 7 p.m. Eastern time or so. So, like I mentioned, I really want to just get this channel back on track. I wasn't able to really upload too much in the past year, ever since going to college, and I really want to get the hype train going for, you know, nationals and worlds, and then of course eventually VGC 2016, which I think will be maybe the biggest year of VGC yet. So I'm just doing my best, but thank you to everyone who's been continuing to support the content. It's kind of crazy that, you know, we passed 50k, we're at 52k already in the last like 2 weeks, which is pretty awesome, and hopefully the growth can just continue as we move on. So once again, thanks for supporting the channel. I'm going to be using Enosh's team just for a little bit more until I can get my new team in game, and then we'll be switching to something new. US Nationals is in just a month, and I have to do some preparation for that event definitely. So you know, I'm going to be trying out fun stuff on Road to Ranked as I also prepare for Nationals, and then after Nationals there's like a month and 2 or 3 weeks until Worlds. So definitely, you know, kind of crazy because summer break started 2 weeks ago, and I already feel like time's going by so quickly. As I mentioned in yesterday's episode, this is my first full week of my internship as well, so I'm really trying to get the hang of things there, you know, manage my time, balance everything out, but I think I will be able to just continue and keep up the content. We're gonna find Bonnie from California with a rating of 1416, and a pretty cool team. You know, once again, I always say you should never underestimate your opponent because of their rating. I know I've definitely been careless and have done that sometimes on Battle Spot, and like when I've been in the high 1700s, low 1800s, then you lose a game to like a 1400 or under 1500 player because a lot of the times they actually have pretty solid teams, and then you lose like 30 points. So definitely don't want to get careless. Bonnie here has a pretty cool team of Groudon, Mewtwo, Zapdos, Weavile, Togetic, and Lapras. So we've actually featured the Mewtwo Groudon combination a while back on a team I built for Road to Ranked. You know, Togetic's made an appearance when we were using Jamie's team all the way earlier on. Weavile, of course, is on my own team, and then Zapdos and Lapras, both pretty solid Pokemon. So this definitely isn't you know, a bad team by any means. Very interesting team composition. I'm actually looking forward to this match. There's just so many different options that my opponent has, and it honestly makes it really scary, but also makes this pretty fun. The lack of a Rayquaza on my opponent's team, however, means that Groudon, you know, Lapras isn't a counter to Groudon, which it sometimes is. For example, when we saw in John Hu's team. I think I want to go with my own Kangaskhan here because Kangaskhan does threaten Weavile so much. So something like Kangaskhan, and honestly my own Groudon is pretty nice here. And then Ferrothorn and Rayquaza in the back. Yeah. Poor Crest really just never sees any play, but I'm just not the biggest fan of using Crest because I really like the hyper-offensive playstyle with this team, and I feel like that fits my playstyle. So we're going to get into this first game. As always, if you enjoy Road to Ranked, please share support by leaving a like in the video. Would really appreciate it. So Kangaskhan and Groudon coming out here, not a very unique lead. We do see this often with the Big 6 combination. Weavile and Zapdos coming out from my opponent's end. I would say this is pretty solid for me because all I'm going to do this first turn is go for a Power-Up Punch up to Weavile and an Eruption. Although maybe I want to fake out the Kangaskhan, Zapdos. If I were inner focus here, my play would be to fake out Zapdos and Eruption, I think. Although we could trade fake outs potentially. If you're my opponent here, you might actually want to go for a fake out into Kangaskhan and set up a Tailwind, which is what I suspect is going to happen. Maybe I should eliminate Weavile then. I'll still go for the power up punch Eruption play. Worst comes to worst, yeah, my opponent gets the Tailwind up, but then I can also stall out Tailwind a little bit better with this team because Kangaskhan is Protect, and I can cycle out Fake Outs, so at most my opponent will be able to get 1, maybe 2 turns of damage output off. We actually see, yep, the Fake Out into Groudon, so it's actually Life Orb Weavile as well. That's pretty cool to see. Sometimes Life Orb Weaviles have like low kick, as unfortunately I won't be able to get a +2 attack boost. They're only getting to +1. Let's see if Zapdos goes for a Thunder Wave, Thunderbolt, or Tailwind. Groudon flinches, and it is going to be the Tailwind coming out from Zapdos. So, you know, so far my opponent's shown a very competitive team, which means rating means absolutely nothing in this game. And right now I'd say my opponent actually has the advantage because we're probably going to see Groudon come in right now. I'd be very surprised if it weren't for Groudon. Yeah, it's going to be Groudon. A very solid Pokemon to bring in here as well. And I think what I'm going to do this next turn is protect my Kangaskhan, which my opponent is probably not expecting, and then bring out my own Rayquaza. Once Rayquaza comes in, I can try to pressure down the Groudon, because if I can eliminate Groudon, then, first of all, my Groudon has an easier time in this matchup. A funny thing, though, is because I brought Rayquaza, if my opponent has Lapras in the back, that could actually help my opponent. Here I suspect you'll want to Precipice Blades on Thunderbolt, and since you don't expect the Protect on Kangaskhan, I feel like this is a relatively safe play. But we'll see if my opponent makes a good prediction. If you have Eruption on Groudon, could also go for that, although I think that's just risky. So I'm going to play it safe here. Rayquaza, I think, is a relatively safe switch in here. I could get dunked by a Hidden Power Ice, but I do have Assault Vest, so I would be able to survive that. However, I'm really hoping I don't take any damage on Rayquaza this turn. As we do see Precipice Blades come out, let's see if we see a Thunderbolt. Oh, a Hidden Power goes into Kangaskhan. That's a close call there. So my opponent looks like he does have HP Ice, which is also a little bit scary. But I'm just going to go for the Double Edge onto Zapdos now, I think. And the Waterfall. You have to double up on one of my Pokemon here. And we do see the Fire Punch come out. So if it's not a Thunderbolt coming out, then I'll be able to get the Double Edge off. Gets a crit there. Hidden Power coming out, but I have the Assault Vest, so this is really good for me here. That's honestly exactly what I could have hoped for. As I do get the Double Edge off. Let's see if it's enough to knock out Zapdos. Does proc its Citrus Berry, but I do believe I should be able to pick up the knockout here with the second hit. Even if not, Extreme Speed should be able to seal up the deal. As he static Zapdos. That's actually pretty cool. Should have noticed that because pressure didn't go up. But I need to pay more attention to the abilities. It's all normally Intimidate I pay attention to. But that doesn't matter because Kangaskhan faints here anyway. And you do get the Waterfall off here. But if my opponent's last Pokemon is Lapras, this will be an interesting finish. Wow, wait, Waterfall did so much there. That's an Extreme Speed KO range at this point, I think. So I'll bring in Ferrothorn. It's going to be Mewtwo. That's perfect, actually. Yeah, because now I just Extreme Speed Groudon and Gyro Ball Mewtwo. Even if you protect Groudon and you Flamethrower, then I just get to switch it into my own Groudon and I could Extreme Speed Eruption. So I think I've got this one locked up. Unless Extreme Speed somehow misses the knockout. But given how much Waterfall did, you know, this isn't Mega Rayquaza, so its damage output is obviously reduced. Maybe I should have played safer there, actually. Maybe I should have protected Ferrothorn. This could be scary. Nope, but he protects Groudon. Okay. What does your Mewtwo go for? Is it a Fire type attack or an Ice Beam? Extreme Speed fails. Gonna be an Ice Beam. That's cool. Gyro Ball might actually just knock out Mewtwo here. Even if it doesn't, I get the switching into my Groudon. Although if he's max speed Groudon, then I could lose, and that's scary. Unless Gyro Ball just picks up the knockout, then that's a guaranteed win. But nope, not going to pick up the knockout. Tailwind Peter's out here as well. So I'll bring in my own Groudon. Oh, this is actually scary. Since Groudon protected, I'm going to Power Whip that slot, even if he's max speed and Earth Power it. If my opponent's max speed Groudon, then I could actually lose this one if I lose the speed type. If it's not max speed, then I think I'm not guaranteed to win because you can double Protector still. But the odds are heavily in my favor. Let's see, could I have done that better? I don't know Mewtwo's moveset either, but he's like, if it has Flamethrower, that could be really bad. If you have Flamethrower and you win the speed type, you win. Or if you Psychic type attack Groudon, which he actually is going for, so let's see if it's max speed or not. Nope. No, I don't know if I won the speed tire or not, but I get the Earth Power off before he gets an attack off, and that knocks out Groudon. So, scary, scary, scary finish there. Groudon's going to go down, and Mewtwo here should feint the Power Whip. So it ends up being a very, very close game. And once again, never underestimate your opponent because of their rating. Power Whip connects there. Reason why I didn't Gyro Ball is because I didn't think Gyro Ball would knock out the Groudon, as I do end up beating Bonnie here. Yeah, very scary finish there. And good protect there. I mean, I felt like I was fine, but then I considered, like, oh, if she's max speed, then that could actually be pretty bad for me. And I don't know, maybe I'm not sure if I want to speed type there. That Groudon didn't look very bulky, so maybe it was max speed. And if that's the case, then I definitely got a little bit fortunate. I mean, she would have had to win the speed tie and hit Precipice Blades, assuming that's what she was going for. Although I assume you could actually Fire Punch there, because then Side Strikes a 2-hit KO until the Groudon. So, very close finish there. And the Groudon Protect I could have predicted there. Another play I could have maybe made better was doubling up into Groudon. I mean, going for the double edge in the Waterfall play, knowing that Zapdos isn't that big of a threat because it can't really touch Groudon. But that was, you know, my opponent played that really well. Just she was able to set up that Tailwind early on, And I knew that that was definitely a potential play, but I just love going aggro offense, which is not exactly always in my favor. You guys may remember a couple games ago, or a couple episodes ago, where I went super aggro offense, like got the knockout onto Whimsicott, but then Whimsicott set up Tailwind, and then Groudon Evilto had 3 turns of Tailwind. Sometimes you can stall Tailwind, sometimes your opponent's just able to overwhelm you. It's never a guaranteed kind of deal, so could have been scary there, but fortunate enough we were able to play it out and ended up being a win. Really, the Rayquaza switch in there was a big deal, and had my opponent went for the Hidden Power Ice there onto the Rayquaza slide as opposed to Kangaskhan, that could have made the difference, but obviously a very, very difficult prediction to make there. But we're going to be able to win the first game of today's episode. Just look for a second match. As I mentioned, yeah, my rating did fall a little bit after we broke the 1800s, but we're getting pretty close once again there. Currently at 1761, so if we pick up a win here and maybe win in our next episode of today's, then maybe we can reach the 1800s again, which would be pretty nice. But once again, thank you to Enosh for the team. Very, very fun team. It's honestly one of my favorite teams to play with in this format. No one really expects Groudon and Rayquaza to be such a strong duo, and it's not like they have incredible synergy together, but they're just really strong Pokemon, and Assault Vest Rayquaza is just so fun. As actually couldn't find an opponent there, so let's just jump back on and look again. But yeah, AV Rayquaza, I mean, like, at this point, if people are going against me or they see this team composition, they know it's Assault Vest, but when Enosh, brought this to a tournament, like, I'm sure he caught so many people off guard, because who the heck runs Assault Vest Rayquaza? Not that it's bad, but everyone just goes with Life Orb or Focus Sash, those by far being the 2 most common, and then occasionally Choice Band as well. People would use Assault Vest here and there, but it definitely didn't have any good or notable tournament showing, as far as I can think of, at any major events. Maybe one of the more smaller regionals. But yeah, I mean, Rayquaza plus Groudon too, just such an obscure combination. Only used by John Hu and Taiwanese player, I believe, who won one of the regionals over there. But very, very fun to use, and good job to Enosh for building it. Weavile also, I think Weavile has actually done its fair share of work on this team. Just being able to threaten the dual primal teams is a big deal. Weavile has a very nice matchup because you're forced to bring Kangaskhan, and we've seen a lot of opponents just choosing not to bring Kangaskhan. Weavile can dunk on Salamence, obviously, with the Icicle Crash, and Salamence is so tempting to bring when your opponent has Kangaskhan, Rayquaza, Groudon, and even Ferrothorn, because you can intimidate it. So the Weavile makes the dual primal matchup pretty fun as well, because other than Kangaskhan, they really can't one-hit KO your Weavile, so it's guaranteed like an Icicle Crash, a Fake Out, a Knockoff, or a Feint, and that just makes the games really interesting, although I'm still pretty bad at calling correct plays with Feint. Finally do find an opponent, Dako from Mexico, also with a rating of 1477, so looks like not too many people on Battle Spot right now, but once again, another solid team. So these games are always the scariest, because if you lose, your rating's going to tank, and evidently, I have really solid opponents with really good teams as well, so definitely not a pushover here. Very cool team here because of the Sableye and the Gyarados. Otherwise, we've got standard Pokemon in Kangaskhan, Groudon, Xerneas, and Ferrothorn. My own Groudon's going to be good. My own Kangaskhan is very tempting. The Xerneas is really scary, though. Ferrothorn, is typically the answer, but my opponent can burn me with Sableye, which is a concern in itself. I think I'm going to go lead with Groudon here. Cresselia is tempting. Although my opponent could go with like Kangaskhan, Xerneas. Although if that is the case, Groudon Ferrothorn there puts in some work, I would say. But then my opponent could go with Kangaskhan, Groudon. That's no fun either. I don't think Weavile is a good Pokemon in this matchup at all. There's nothing Icicle Crash hits are super effective. Knockoff barely does much because they're 2 megas. Or 1 mega and 2... I mean, it could help against Xerneas, I guess, but... I don't think I like Crest too much against Thunder Wave, but it can't do much more. So I'm actually going to go Groudon, Ferrothorn, Kangaskhan, Rayquaza. I actually think this matchup is slightly in my opponent's favor, but we'll see how it plays out. Not having physical Groudon definitely makes things a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to have to really be careful of this Xerneas because I'm not bringing Speed Control either. But if I can get one hit off, then it should be in Gyro Ball KO range. So I'm going to go with Groudon and Ferrothorn. Not exactly the most common lead with this team. And we're going to see Xerneas and Sableye. Okay. Not too bad here. I mean, Xerneas doesn't like going against either of these 2 Pokemon, right? So I think my play turn 1 here is just go straight for an Eruption with Groudon. And I'm probably just going to Gyro Ball. I mean, you could go for the Will-O-Wisp, but even if you get the Will-O-Wisp off, I'll be able to get some good damage off with both the Eruption and the Gyro Ball. And then, you know, even if you switch into your Groudon, I'm still not in a bad position. And, you know, Sableye here gets access to a lot of good moves. Fake Out, Quash, Will-O-Wisp, Foul Play, Taunt, Swagger. Just to name a couple of moves that Sableye has. You know, not exactly the most common support Pokemon. We often see Prankster users such as Thundurus obviously being maybe the most common one. Liepard. We did see Whimsicott a couple days ago. You know, Sableye not exactly that common, but it's very nice, especially on the Gravity teams. Actually, you know, you guys may remember when I played Baz Anderson, he did have that Sableye setting up Gravity and using Quash and whatnot, and then Kyurem could come in and just Blizzard away. But I think my opponent's kind of in a tricky position. Actually, he goes for the Protect play here with Xerneas. I like that I got a lot. We'll probably see a Will-O-Wisp here onto Ferrothorn. Does manage to connect here. So Eruption here I think will most likely knock out Sableye. If not, then that's actually fine because then I get a free play next turn. If I eliminate Sableye, then Sableye, I mean, he will be able to get a free switch in here. And no Focus Sash on Sableye, so I am able to eliminate Sableye, but of course I did take the burn here on Ferrothorn, and that's a big deal in this matchup. So nice play by my opponent here. Do eliminate one Pokemon, but Sableye is definitely the kind of non-factor here. Doesn't, you know, not a major threat. Not exactly a Pokemon I would want to prioritize knocking out. As Groudon comes in, and this is already really scary. I don't know what moveset this Groudon is. If it's max speed, you know, that could be scary. I think my play here is to Earth Power Groudon, and could switch out into Kangaskhan. If he's max speed, he could Eruption. I don't think he Dazzling Gleams here, though, so I actually want to take this on to switch out into Rayquaza. If I can eliminate Groudon, Xerneas can't really do very much against Ferrothorn, even with the boost, and I can just Leech Seed. Leech Seed plus Leftovers heals more than Xerneas can do damage-wise. A good play my opponent could make here, though, is to protect Groudon in Geomancy. However, if that's the case, then the next turn, I can just Earth Power again. Maybe I should have switched into Kangaskhan, though. I'm not sure if I like my play here too much. Depends on if Groudon protects or not. I would actually Eruptions. Winning a Speed Tie there as well. That's fine, especially if Earth Power knocks him out here. Because he's max speed, obviously. Nice. So Groudon goes down. Now he doesn't have a Fire-type attack against Ferrothorn. That could have gone even better for me there if I won the Speed Tie there, because then I don't take any damage. But I'll take that turn. This is still really scary, though, because now, obviously, the Xerneas is sitting at +2. And my Ferrothorn, which is my one real answer to it, is burned. Let's see what my opponent's last Pokemon is. Gyarados would be cool. Especially because I could Thunderbolt it. Nope, it's Kangaskhan. I actually forgot about Kangaskhan. That's kind of bad, actually. I don't like that. I mean, you've probably Fake Out Groudon and Gleam here. I think I might actually lose this one. Well, I mean, it's obviously very far from that right now, but okay, I'm gonna switch out into Ferrothorn here. And Extreme Speed Kangaskhan. I'm hoping basically what's going to happen here is he's going to take a ton of damage from the Extreme Speed and the Recoil. And if the Kangaskhan doesn't have Protect, then I can go for the switching into Kangaskhan and then Fake Out and make a play there. Alternatively, he could just Fake Out the Rayquaza here, which would also be kind of bad. Although then I get the free switching into my Kangaskhan. We don't see a Fake Out coming out. Double Edge? Or Power Up Punch? Or Low Kick. Low Kick might actually just win my opponent the game. Let's see if he went for it. Good play. Getting a crit there too. Oh no, that's not good. Wow. I should have considered the Low Kick. I really didn't expect that to come out, but I guess that's actually my opponent's best play there. So my play there was to sack Groudon. Or double sack, maybe? And then I have Kangaskhan Ferrothorn. I don't know. I actually, yeah, I didn't... consider, like, the burn onto Ferrothorn, like, might have actually, he had low kick on Kang too. Like I said, I just really didn't like my matchup, and my opponent played well with that Geomancy. Yeah. Trying to think what I could have done better. I think I just needed a better game plan overall, honestly. If you're my opponent here, you just Moonblast Kangaskhan. Probably Double Edge. Groudon. I don't even know if Earth Power knocks out Kangaskhan. How do I win this one? I would need a crit somewhere. I mean, my opponent could also mess up and protect Xerneas. Maybe I'll double up on the Kangaskhan. I mean, I have to hope for a misplay somewhere here, and I know Xerneas can protect and Kangaskhan can't. Especially if you're expecting Precipice Blades, actually, so maybe this can work out. Although maybe my opponent just knows my team. No protect from Xerneas. Although, I mean, I've already revealed Earth Power, so that's not too surprising. Yeah, just Moonblast comes out. Unless it somehow targets Groudon, which it does. Can I survive? Nope. Then I could have... I mean, if I fake out Earth Power the Xerneas there. No, fake out Xerneas, Earth Power Groudon. Or yeah, I don't think I had it out there. Would have needed power, Precipice Blades. If I had Precipice Blades, yeah, I could fake out Xerneas Precipice Blades. But, like, if this was, like, typical Kangaskhan and typical Groudon, then I could have pulled something off there, but not the case. And, yeah, I mean, my opponent had a low rating, but that obviously didn't mean anything. Very well played, and that Sableye Will-O-Wisp there was big. And Ferrothorn's really good against Xerneas, but not when they have both Kangaskhan and Groudon. I mean, if anything, what I could have done better was turn 1, at least protect Ferrothorn and go for an Eruption. And then turn 2, you know, at least then Ferrothorn wouldn't be burned. But I also really should have just considered that low kick was coming out on that Groudon slot that turn. Because I lost any chance of winning there. But, I don't know, honestly, like, Kangaskhan, Groudon, and Xerneas is still a pretty difficult matchup here because typically the fourth Pokemon is something Weavile likes to go up against. Like, maybe Weavile would have actually been the call there. Like, getting the knockoff off and denying a Geomancy would have been a good deal. But this is one of the games where, like, I like, kind of forgot about the potential Kangaskhan there in the end. And as a result, like, I wasn't playing knowing that my opponent would have that fake out pressure and that offensive pressure in the back. I don't think Crest really would have been a great call here either. I mean, maybe paralyzing Xerneas, but I don't know. Like, Crest doesn't do much more other than that. And this team kind of, in order to beat Xerneas, you need to get either Dragon Ascent or Double Edges off or Gyro Balls. But those are all kind of hard to do against a well-played Xerneas. And I thought my opponent really honestly played that pretty well. This is where, I don't know, even in a best of 3, I'm not sure if I could have a, like, very defined game plan. Like, if anything, I'd want to maybe avoid getting Ferrothorn burn, maybe lead with Kangaskhan, especially since I've got Scrappy. Kangaskhan Groudon definitely wouldn't be a bad lead here. In fact, yeah, I think I definitely should have led that with Scrappy, because then I can just fake out Eruption. You probably want to protect the Xerneas there, pick up a knockout, next turn just Double Edge Earth Power Xerneas. So that's probably what I would do differently, because I actually forgot I had Scrappy as an option on Kangaskhan, and that would have helped out a lot against the Sableye. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, still a pretty tough team matchup, I would say, and especially because my opponent was max speed Groudon as well. And that was a very, very well played game, and that's why you should never underestimate your opponent's rating. So, despite playing 2 sub 1500 players today, we get some pretty good games. Maybe I just didn't play as good as I really should have, but I honestly thought they were pretty quality matches. So, hope you guys enjoyed this one. As always, leave a like if you did, and don't forget, there will be another episode later today. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one, guys. See you later tonight. Alright, peace.